Okay, guys. Hey, so this week we are going to be making, as you can see, a cute little hammer. So go ahead, you guys know the drill, I hope by now. Go ahead and make a new scene. And then I believe the easiest way to do this is just start with a cylinder. You can move it to the ground by pushing. You can move it to the ground by pushing the Y to 1. And then you can just leave it at its normal dimensions. And then since a hammer is a little complicated, I'm going to add in a reference just so I have something to kind of go off of. So go ahead and click space and go into your front view, and then go to View, Image Plane, Import Image. And then I'll try to remember to link a reference into this video so that you guys can also use it. If not, just look up any hammer and just use that. So this will be my reference. I'm going to turn on looking through camera over here, and then just turn down the color gain because we don't need to see all that really bright white light. So with that image selected, you can just go ahead and rotate it, and then you can push W and position it as needed. And then I'll probably scale mine up a little bit to fit the cylinder. Yeah, there we go. And then just make it kind of sit on the ground like that. I think I'm not actually going to end up making it the handle. That's pretty easy. If you guys want to see how to make an easy handle, just go ahead and go back and watch my tutorial on how to make a screwdriver, since we do a handle in that one. So you could just go from that. Yeah. Okay, so with the cylinder selected, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is go to vertex mode, select the top vertices, click W, and then push them all the way up to the top, which is basically just like the bottom of the metal part. All right, so next we're going to use our multi-cut tool. I hold shift and right click, hold, and then drag over to multi-cut. I think this is also multi-cut, so you can use it that way. And then just go ahead and hold control, and it'll give you kind of like a little loop. And then if you middle click, you can do halfway cuts. So I'm just gonna do like a ton of halfway cuts. Yeah, that looks good. That should be enough. And then go back, click Q so that you're in selection mode, and then go into vertex mode. And then what you can do is you can taper it. So basically, I'm pretty sure a hammer kind of like comes in at the middle and then tapers down a little bit at the bottom. So like, let's say like this is the widest point. So then if we just select those other guys, click R, and then hold control and drag on this middle one, then you can taper the bottom one in, and then just select one less every time so that it slowly goes in. I'm going to do really small increments so you don't have to do that much, but just so it kind of starts to form a little bit more of a hammer. You can always like go back in and edit this. It doesn't have to be like your final version or anything. Don't feel pressured to do that. Okay, sure, we'll say that's good for now. We can try to like even it out a little bit more. And then we'll come back to this at the end too, maybe just like touch it up a little bit. But next thing that I want to do is whenever I think of a hammer, I tend to not think of like a cylinder because cylinders are a little harder to hold. So eventually we'll come through and we'll like scale this in so it's a little more ovally instead of a circle, basically. But before we do that, I do want to go ahead and start with the top part, the hammer head. So in order to do that, we need to go ahead and make a cube. You can just keep the normal dimensions and then click W and push it up to the top. Yep, looks good. Okay, and then I'm probably gonna put, let's do like 5 divisions. Each of those, yeah, that looks good. You can scale that over here in Polycube 1. Next thing that I'm going to do is just scale it out a little bit, just so it's even with our cylinder. Yeah, and then the next thing you can do is scale this out a bit too. All right, Yeah, it should cover all points of your cylinder. So as long as it's covering everything, you're good. Go to Mesh Combine, and then select the faces that go along with them. Like that. You can hold tab while you're doing this. And then select those guys as well. That's easy. And then just go ahead and do, we're gonna do Edit Mesh Bridge option box. We're gonna pick a linear path. Actually, just reset your settings and do whatever that is. Click Apply. Should turn out something like that. And then I think we can change our twist a little bit. I don't know what'll look best. Whatever looks best on your mesh, just do that. That looks pretty good. If you press 3, you can see it'll like smooth out a bit too. All right, you can close that option box. All right, so now that we have all of that, next thing we're going to have to do is we're gonna delete the sides or the faces that have the like hammer head or the mallet. I don't know hammer terms. All right, so go into, press space so you can see it in this view. What you want to do is you want to edit these squares because they're on the left of your hammer, like seen over here. So that's where our mallet's going to be, okay guys? So go ahead, hold Q, and then you can just hold tab, select them all. You know the drill. So go ahead and go into your front view. And then I'm noticing that mine isn't as tall as I would like it to be. So what we can do to just fix that is go ahead and be in, let's do face mode. Actually, no, do vertex mode. That's usually the safest mode. Select those top guys and then click W and just push all the way down. That way we have a little smaller of an edge. I'm gonna scale mine up just a little bit. And then next thing I'm going to do is select that top row and drag all the way up. And then I think what I'm going to do is just add in some easy multi-cuts. You have to do this in object mode, by the way, to get through the shortcut. And then just add those guys. They're not like super even, but that's good enough. Click Q and then go into your perspective view. Go into edge mode, and then I think I want to go ahead and go in and just select that face, do Edit Mesh Circularize, and then you can go ahead and adjust your twist as needed. Mine usually needs like 20 degrees of twist for some reason. Maybe try like 24. That looks pretty good. And then after you get that set, you can go ahead, select that face, and do Extrude, Control E, and then you can offset it in by like 0.1. Yeah, that looks good. Go ahead and extrude it again, Control E. I'm gonna go ahead and change the local translate. First, I'll do like 1. And then I'll extrude it again. You can offset it in like a little bit. Extrude again and do local translate. And then I'll probably do like 0.2 or something. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so go into this view. I want to be able to see kind of how it's coming along. Looks like I didn't quite make it long enough. You can always adjust that. Maybe like to there. And then you can extrude it. And then this part gets a little bit tricky because we're going to be kind of like extruding the faces and then scaling it up. So extrude that guy, do local translate, just so it gets to kind of like the end of that. So like 1. Yeah, that looks good. You don't have to be accurate or super precise. And then go ahead and do extrude again. Do a local translate and then extrude again. Click R, and then we're going to scale it up and then move it so that it's out of the mesh. I'm gonna extrude it again and change local translate Z. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think I might have scaled it up too big. Okay, so when you are scaling it, okay, right here, when you click R, scale it in this mode so that you can see how tall you're making it. That's better. All right, and then you can push it just a little bit, click W, and then do extrude again, and then in this mode, change your local translate to be however long you want that mallet to be. All right, I think that looks good. I'm gonna extrude, offset it in. I'm just gonna extrude it and then push my local translate up just a tiny bit, because I think when we press 3, it'll look a little cooler like that. We'll see. That's pretty good. Oh, I also apparently randomly made a sphere down here. Cool. All right. Next thing that we are going to be doing is handling this back portion, which is a little more difficult, so strap in. All right, now select these faces on the back, and you can extrude them. And then I think what I want to do is, while looking in this place, change your local translate Z, and then I'm gonna up it to like 1, I think. 1's probably fine, because then we're gonna scale it and things like that, so that should be good. Go ahead and do extrude again, Command E. Do another local translate Z all the way to that end. Probably like just do like another 1. Yeah. And then you can click R, and then you can scale it to be really small, and then you can move it down as well. Really basic, odd looking shape here, but you understand what I'm going for. You see it, right? Right. Okay. Next thing you want to do is use the multi-cut tool, and then you're going to add some multi-cuts just between those guys, and then go in and do the same in these cuts as well, just so we have some sort of more even feel to it. And then go back into face mode, and then you can go ahead and select, I'm going to try, make sure Q is on so that you're not using multi-cut. And then you're going to scale, I'm just going to select like these guys, and then click W. Oh, do this in wireframe mode, it's way easier. Wireframe mode is that button. Okay, so now you can see our silhouette a little bit better. So we're going to try and match that, which is going to be a little complicated. Actually, we could probably, let's just select these, click R, and then make sure that when you scale it, it only scales the top portion and not these sides. You want to keep that all even. So make sure it kept it even. Yeah, that's good. And then just go through, select again, scale that down so it matches the mesh more. Do the same thing with the next guy, scale it down. And then eventually you'll come more to a point. Don't do what I just did. Okay, and then select those guys. These actually just need to be more like moved down like that. You can do the same thing with those guys on the tail. Maybe we do it like that. I'm gonna select those guys. Move them a smidge down. Just a smidge. I also think that I probably need to scale these guys down a smidge. Okay. I also need to go into this view. You're going to want to select all of these faces. And then I'm going to click E, and then you're going to want to rotate them just so they face down a little bit more. Click W and then move them down, since they are supposed to be actually facing down a little bit more. And then let's just go ahead and mess with these guys. It's really the rotate that you just need to move, so you can play with that as needed. Really what I need to do is just select this loop edge right here and just like scale that guy up. There we go. Okay, so I'm seeing that this section right here is too big. So I'm just gonna go through, click R and then scale it in and then move it up so that it's the correct size. That looks like more like the size, that's good. And then these guys, these faces, basically just need to be a little rotated. And then you can move them down a little bit. Do the same for this row. And you can rotate them a smidge. And then I'm actually just gonna select this edge. Right here. Click R, scale it up a little bit. And then you can push W and move it down. Okay, so that was too big. That looks a bit better. Let's do the same thing with this edge. Just trying to make it all even. Okay, that looks pretty good. So next thing I really just need to do is like scale this edge loop in, I'll just a smidge, maybe like that. And then that looks pretty good. We could even like tilt those guys more if you wanted to, or even just scale them down. Whatever you think is best. Another issue that I didn't think about is that these are technically deleted. So if you're in the front view, it's technically like that row. It's just like gone. How I solved this issue was by going to Append to Polygon, which I think is in Mesh Tools. Yeah, and then Append to Polygon. And then basically all you do is just like click and drag on edges to make our polygons. So let's try that. It doesn't set until you click enter. You can click escape to delete it, but you're just gonna be using the Append to Polygon tool to do that. So yeah, that is at least what has worked for me so far. Of course, it could be different for you. If you find like a better way of doing it, let me know. There's also the possibility of, if you don't want to do this whole Append to Polygon thing, what you can do is actually like go through when you're doing the modeling process, is only select like these faces when you extrude, and that way you don't have to delete and fill this part in. I don't really mind having to fill this part in, but I can definitely understand why you wouldn't want to fill it in. So it goes either way, really. Totally up to you. But yeah, so I'm just gonna finish this up real quick. Okay, so as you can see, I finished doing the whole Append to Polygon thingy, so that's fun. If you want, you can go in and like add more multi-cuts and stuff. You don't have to. I won't, but you can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and press 3 and then just choose whichever edges I just want to bevel. So I think I probably want to bevel these guys back here for sure. All of these straight lines right here are all ones that you definitely want to bevel. Okay, Control B is beveling, as you probably know by now. That's better. Kind of like the way the bottom is looking, so I won't change that. And then if you want this to be a little bit more prominent, you can bevel this edge right there. And then I'm also going to bevel the bottom as usual. Yeah. And then what I do want to do is scale in, go to face mode, select those faces, and then click R, and then just squish in like that. Just to make it a bit more thin, because I always kind of picture hammers more thin like that. So, but that's also totally up to your preference. If you imagine it being a completely circular hammer, great. I won't take that away from you. Yeah, okay. I think the last thing I'm gonna do is bevel these edges in here. Just a couple of them. This one's probably the main one that needs a bevel on it. Okay, yeah, okay. I like how that's looking. Obviously, this one's a little bit more stylized. Thanks for watching, as always. I know this one was a bit more complicated. I hadn't done this one in a while, and I'm not as confident modeling something as dynamic as this. I'm trying to get better at it. You'll see in my future tutorials trying some more difficult objects with weird modeling problems like a hammer. So stay tuned for those, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys!